everybody. This is Michelle with Creative Operation, and I'm here today to share with you a design team project for Country Craft Creations. This one I'm really super excited about for a couple different reasons. So this is the beautiful bee house papers that Tamra from Country Craft Creations has come out with, and this is an exclusive line that she has done, and it's only available at Country Craft Creations. And it is absolutely stunning. This paper is absolutely gorgeous. So I created this album, and I've got some new configuration pages that I wanted to share with you. So I hope you like this tutorial. It's going to be a little bit different in that I made the book already. I'm going to show you how to make the pages. They're super simple to do. If you have seen any of my other configuration tutorials, I've done several of these kinds of albums where I take one piece of paper and with a couple strategic scores and cuts, you can make all kinds of different options with these papers. So that's what I did with this one, but I did it with a little twist as well. Now, I did have one of my YouTube viewers that asked me if I could do one with 8.5 by 11 papers, which I haven't done before. I usually use 12 by 12. But I said, yeah, I'm going to try that, to put that on my list. So I ended up combining not only this gorgeous paper, which I haven't used before, and this is the first time I've been able to use it in this new album with this new page style, but I've also decided to use 8.5 by 11 pieces of cardstock to make this album, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make the pages. But they're also graduated, which is kind of fun, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So let's just go through. What I'm going to do is go through the album, show you what I did, and then we're going to go through how to make the pages. And then you can take it from there, because you can decorate it and paper it as you please. So we won't go over that part, but I'll go over exactly everything else. So this album uses, again, the bee house papers. These papers are 8.5 by 11 inches, the pattern paper. And I did use an entire pack of that paper, and I have very few pieces left over. I do have some scraps, but what I did was, after I made the pages and put all the paper on the pages, then I used the scraps for tags and things like that. So that's where I ended up using most of my stuff. This paper line does not have cut aparts or anything like that, but I did use fussy cutting on some of the scraps and cut out like these little bees here. I cut those out and popped them up with pop dots for the cover. This little flower here was fussy cut from the paper. So you can do a lot of fussy cutting. I did that with the flower and the leaves here too, and then popped them up, so it gives it a little bit of added dimension. I added flowers from my stash, and this ribbon here is from my stash as well. I did use artisan cardstock, so I used black for the base, and then I used the summer ivory for some mats and for the mat for the covers. So all together, like, I used 2 pieces of chipboard, and I used, what did I count? 10 pieces of black cardstock, and I used, I think, 4 pieces of summer ivory. So it doesn't really take, I guess, a whole lot of cardstock. It does take the entire pattern, or the entire pack of paper. But again, the pack of paper, the pattern paper, is 8.5 by 11. So it is a little bit smaller than we're normally used to the 12 by 12s. So anyways, I decorated the cover bling from my stash and some flowers from my stash. And then again, I fussy cut everything. The spine I left pretty plain. And then the back here, I used this particular pattern paper. I just think it's absolutely stunning. This paper is absolutely gorgeous. So it ties with the ribbon again. And then what I'm doing is I'm calling this a graduated or a cascading page configuration. So when you open up the album, I'm keeping the spine straight. You can see that the pages are different sizes. So it really does cascade when you open it up, because it starts at 4.5 wide and it goes clear through 6.5 wide. So again, I only used 8.5 by 11 pieces of cardstock to make these page configurations. They're all different. So what we're going to do is start with the front. Now, I did do kind of a traditional waterfall here, but what I did was, with the closure, I made some tags, and I've done this before in my What's Cooking album. No, not my What's Cooking album. Which album was it? Now I can't remember. One of my latest albums. Oh, it was my folio album that I did using the Graphic 45 tags. So what I did was, sorry about that. I cut some scraps of paper and made tags. And then if you see on the inside, what I did was I attached the ribbon to the inside of the tag and then put the pattern paper over top of it. I had added an eyelet and I put the ribbon through the eyelet. So that way I could make the closure. And that way you don't have like a loop through the eyelet that you have to deal with. You don't have like a knot here that you have to deal with. It's all underneath the pattern paper underneath. So basically what I did was I cut the tags at 3.5 by 3, and on the 3.5 I scored at 1/2 inch and I added them to the cover, and they go flush to the cover here. And then added my ribbon, did the eyelet, put the pattern paper on, and that's my closure for my waterfalls. And I did this for both the front and the back. Now I should back up and say that the cover pieces, the chipboard is 7 by 7 and the spine is 3 by 7. So I'm not going to show you how to do the actual covering of the album because I'm going to do that exactly the same way as I did it in my previous video on the lay flat album cover method, and that video will be linked below in the description so you can see how to do that. But if you have 2 pieces of chipboard that are 7 by 7 and 1 piece for the spine, that's 7 by 3, then you'll be able to do that. Now I have all the cut lists down below as well, so you'll have all the dimensions for the chipboard, for the pattern paper, or not for the pattern paper, for the cardstock and everything that you'll need to create this album. Okay, so this opens up, and you could actually put little pictures here if you want. And then I did a stacked waterfall, and I do have a video on how I make my stacked waterfall, but again, those will be, the dimensions will be down below. I can't talk. I made this corner pocket here with just some scraps. It was kind of an afterthought kind of thing. And then I took some of the scraps of the pattern paper, backed them on cardstock, and made photo mats. So I really wanted to use this paper, and I really wanted to showcase it. I just think it's absolutely beautiful paper. So there's a waterfall for the front, and then there's a waterfall on the back, and I did one vertical and I did one horizontal. They're made exactly the same, just turned a different direction, and they're exactly the same dimensions even. So I'll show you the back here real quick. So same thing. On this one, again, I did the closure the same way. And then I did the, I don't know what that is, did my waterfall. And then on this one, I did put a pocket in the back, and that was kind of an afterthought pocket. And then I used some of the paper to put on cardstock to make a couple cut apart, tags. So that closes up like that. I only put pattern paper on the front one, left all the other leaves blank so that you could put your pictures in there, so you have lots of photo opportunities. All right, so let's look at the pages. So now again, these are graduated. Starts with a 4.5 inch wide page, and it goes all the way to a 6.5 inch wide. There's 5 pages in this album. They all have a 1/2 inch gusset, so there's a 1/2 inch before and in between your pages. And then I also used my 1/4 inch give space. So we'll talk about that when I go through the pages. But this particular page, and I like these pages because I did them this way, but I'm going to show you different variations of what you can do with them. So this one here has a pocket, and again, I just created some tags out of scraps and put in there. I used yellow seam binding from Country Craft Creations to make the bows, and then it opens like this, and then it opens like this. So it's a trifold kind of page. So that first page like that, and then you turn it over, and then there's a pocket here on the back. Lots of picture space on this album. So the next page is 5 inches wide, and again, it has a front pocket that I just simply decorated with a flower, but this pocket does flip. So let me put these back in here for just a second. So this looks like a pocket, but it actually flips down like this, and then you have this nice big space here. And then I put the tags in the pocket right there, okay? And then when you turn it over, you have this side pocket here, and again, lots of scrap space, and using the papers to make tags, and you can put pictures on the back. This one I actually made into a little card, so that was kind of cute. I liked the bee on there. And then added some flowers from my stash. And then when you open it up, I wanted to get this full picture, so I was able to do that. And again, this pattern paper is 8.5 by 11, so it is a little bit less wide than we're used to, but it works out really good. So on this particular page here, this is a flip up, and I added a big 4 by 6 piece, And then when I glued it down, I glued it on 3 sides so that it created a pocket for another tag. And then you have this space back here. This page here is 5.5 inches wide. And then when you turn this page over, it has this flip here. But then this also has like a magnet closure. I added a 3x4 piece of paper of cardstock, and then I covered it on the top with the patterned paper, and then on the inside, when I glued it down, I glued it on the 3 sides so it created a pocket, and I put a magnet underneath this patterned paper here, and I put a magnet right here so that'll keep it nice and closed. So you have this flips up, and I made 2 little cute little tags, and I fussy cut these little bees to put on the tops of them. I didn't want too much on them because I didn't want to interfere with the magnet too much. And then it opens up like that. So I got this whole image here, which I thought was really cool. And this is just a nice little thing. Now, we'll talk about variations, but you could do all kinds of different things with this particular thing. So this flower right here sat on a fussy cut leaf that I got from the scraps of the papers too, and I just popped them up on Pop Dots. So it gives it a little bit of dimension. So this page here has a flip and a pocket. So we've got, again, another tag and a cut apart in the pocket, and then it opens up for a nice big layout. I like that this one, I used 2 different papers, and it almost exactly matched up. I didn't quite get it, but it looks like the same kind of paper across the front, and then you open it up. So I thought that was kind of cute. I almost got it quite there. And then the back here has another big pocket, and again, tags made out of the scraps. I love this paper. It is so pretty. The yellow and the black is just, it's awesome. I just love it. So this page here has a pocket on the front, and again, more tags. And I alternated between, like, the one side of the paper is gorgeous and vibrant and has, you know, really bright colors. And then the opposite sides have kind of a more muted detail. And I love both of them so much that I wanted to showcase both of the papers because I just think they're just beautiful and vintagey and distressed, and they're just gorgeous. Again, more flowers from my stash, and then I did some fussy cutting with the flowers in the scraps and just layered them together. And then this is a little flower that came from the scraps as well. Little pop of pink. And then on the back of this page there's a flap. Again, I added one of the flowers from my stash, and then I fussy cut a little bee and put him in the flower. And then when you open this up, there's another little pocket with another little tag. And then here is a fussy cut honey pot with the honey dipper, and then a little bit of flowers that I just layered together. And then this one here is layered so that you could put a picture behind it if you wanted to. So this is the album that I made. So let's talk about how to make the papers. So again, these pages are graduated, and so they go in size from smallest to biggest. Now, if you make this album, you could do anything you want. You could make them all the 6.5-inch page if you want to. You could do whatever you choose. But there's options here, and I really like the fact that when you open it up, it really graduated and it really showed all the papers. I just kind of like that. And the top view I thought was kind of cool because you can see on the top view that, the pages are graduated. So I just thought that was kind of a funky little thing to do. So on the first page, so it's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So I just took a piece of artisan and I cut it down. And then you're going to put it in your scoreboard, and you're going to score the following like this. So let's just go ahead and run through it like as if we were actually doing it. Let me grab my scoring tool and we'll do that. So you put it in at the 11-inch mark, and we're going to go ahead and score. So this is the first page that's 4.5, this first page right here, and you're going to score at 1/2 at 3/4. So that gives you the 1/2 inch to put it down on the spine and a 1/4 inch give. Then you're going to go over and score at 5.5, or excuse me, 5 1/4, okay, 5 1/4 and 8.5, okay? So score at 1/2, 3/4, 5 1/4, 8.5, and then you're going to turn it, and you're going to score at 6.5. And then what you're going to end up with is all of this. Now you're going to cut this corner out, and you're going to cut it flat. So because this is the part that's going to bind to the book, so you want that straight. So we're not mitering anything. And then we're going to make a slit up this cut or up this score here just to the score line, and then you're going to cut this whole corner out for this first page. Now, when you do that, you're going to end up with a piece that looks like this. Let's grab this because it might be a little bit easier to see. So we've cut this corner out here, we've made the slit here, and then we've cut this piece out here. Okay, and then what I did was I just folded it so that, let's start with the bottom parts are going to go to the back. Okay, then we're going to fold it here, and then we're going to turn it and fold it again, so that makes the trifold, and then you have this piece here that is going to create your pocket. Okay, so that will create this pocket here, and then when you turn the page over, you're going to have a pocket back here. All right, so we have this flap here. Now, you have two different ways you can do this. So what I ended up doing was I made a bunch of pieces, and let's see, do I have any available? Well, I can make one super, super quick. So I just made connection pieces. So what I did was, let's just do this really super quick. This is not to scale, but it's okay because we're demonstrating. So I took a 1-inch piece of paper and I scored it down the middle at half, folded it over, and then I cut it. These are 2-inch tall pockets, so I just cut it at 2 inches. And then what I did was I mitered it. Let me do that really super quick for you, and I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. So there's two different ways to do this. So you can either do these pieces to create the pockets, and then, or you can just glue them down on the sides. But if you glue them down on the sides, these skinnier panels, you don't get all the pockets. So what I decided to do on this album was to create all of these pieces, and it didn't really honestly take that long. It was not that big of a deal. But once you cut them down to fit your pocket, then you just glue them on the edges. Okay, so it basically creates a tab so that when you fold it back up and glue it down on your page, you'll have a full pocket that goes from side to side. So that's what I did. So I just took some of the scraps. When you cut your paper down from 8.5 to 11, you're gonna have a 1-inch by 12-inch piece of paper that you can totally make these out of. And so you can do either way you want. If you glue them down, if you decide to just glue them down and not use connector pieces for your pocket, you will need to put pattern paper down first, unless you want to leave it totally blank. Like if I use black cardstock, so this would be black. If we were using this page, it would be still white. You could put, after you glue it down, you could put a scrap piece up here, because who's going to look in the pocket? But just remember that the glue will take up some of the space of your pocket, so your tags will have to be a little bit smaller on some of your pockets. Some of them it won't matter. But anyways, that's what I did. I used connector pieces, and it honestly didn't take very long. I just cut most of the pockets. I think there's only one pocket that was 1.5 inches. That's it. But the rest of them are like 2. So I just glued one on each side and then folded it over, glued it down, and then I was able to paper everything later. Okay. So this one has it's the first page, it's the trifold, it has a pocket on the front, it has a pocket on the back. And the other thing with this one is that you can do it different. You could do it as an accordion instead of a trifold. You could turn it over and do it like this, so you can fold it out this way. You could put the pocket on the inside and do it like a trifold. You can do all kinds of things. What I did was put the pocket on the front. All right. And then I decided to trifold it, trifold it out. And so it created a pocket on the front and a pocket on the back. Okay. Now don't panic as I'm going through this either, because I have I'm going to take pictures of my, let me get this out of the way, of my papers. I'm going to put them on my blog, and you can go to my blog and you can see exactly how to do these pages. Okay. So don't panic. You can go to my blog and you can go ahead and get, these printed out. You could print out these pictures and then you'll know exactly how to do it. Okay. So that's page 1. As always, if you have any questions at all, you can always ask me. Okay, please leave a comment and let me know. So this second page has the little flip pocket here that we put the tags in. Okay, and then on the back it has this here and the side pocket. Now this one is 1.5 inches. So let's go over how to make the second page, which is 5 inches wide. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and we're going to score at, oh, and I got to read my own notes. So this one you have to score a little bit different because we don't want to put a score line on this piece. So we're going to score on the 8.5 first, sorry. Second page, 8.5 first. We're going to score at 6.5, okay? And then what you're going to do is turn it to the 11-inch side, and you're going to score at 1/2, at 3/4, at 5 3/4, and at 9.5. Okay, and you're only going to go down to that score line. Don't go all the way down. Okay, which I started to do, but anyway, it's not like the end of the world because you're going to cover it with pattern paper. So if you do it, it's not going to totally mess everything up. But if you don't want that score in there, then don't do it. Okay. So then what you're going to do is you're going to make a slit from this corner down this score line. Okay, so you're only going to go to that far. And then you're going to cut this corner out again. Again, this is the binding piece for the page. So we're just going to cut that corner out. All right, so when you're done with this, what you're going to have is a paper that's split here, okay, to that line, and then you're going to have that piece cut out. And what I did was I folded this top part to the back, all right, and then I folded that over, and that created my little pocket on the back. And then this page, I folded it up, turned it over, and then this created that little flat pocket. Okay, so all I did on this one, I did put a line of glue at the bottom, just at the very bottom, but I did use a connector for the side. Now, the one thing that you will know about this page is that you will have to trim some off, because let's open this back up again. Okay, we cut this, all right. When you fold it over, it will be, let's fold it this way, you'll have like 1/4 of an inch. It'll be a little bit longer. So all you're going to have to do is just, let's pull that score out of the way here so we don't cut it. That's for the binding. And then we're just going to snip off this 1/4 inch piece, and then you'll have your little flat pocket. Now, again, you can glue this all if you want to, or you can use a little connector on the side. Okay. I used a connector on the side, and then I just glued the bottom because you're just going to put little tags in there, and it's going to flip out. Okay, so just like that. And then on the back, you'll have a pocket and you'll have a flap. So again, what you're going to do is you're going to fold the top part to the back. And then when you turn it over, flip this over, and then this will be a pocket right here, okay? And then this part here you flip it up and then flip it over, and then that creates that pocket, okay? This tab will go to the back because that's the binding tab. So let's just do that real quick, all right? So you can get the proper orientation, but that's what we're making. That's the 5-inch page. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Again, this will be on my blog, so you can go ahead and print those out so that you can do that, okay? So then the next page is this page. This is the 5.5 inch page. Now this one is folded a little bit different. We're going to start with the 11-inch side at the top, okay? And we're going to score at 1/2 and at 3/4 again. Then you're going to go to 6 1/4, and that's it. And then you're going to turn, and then we're going to do a couple little things here. We're going to score at 2 all the way down, and then you're going to score at 6 1/2, but you're only going to score to the score line here, okay? So you're not going to go all the way across. This is going to be your main page, which is 5 inches wide. All right, Then when you do that, in the red, we're going to cut this top rectangle area out, and you're going to make a slit from here and then here. You're going to leave this fold right here. Okay? So what that's going to do for you is, let's open this up. So here's your page all opened up. Okay? This corner is cut out. We've got our slit at the top and our slit at the bottom. That's it. Okay, so the first thing, just go ahead and fold that piece back. This piece comes down, and when we turn it over, this piece folds down and this piece folds down. Okay, so this is giving us, without this piece right here, it's giving us this flap here. Okay, and I added a 4x6 piece of cardstock covered with pattern paper on both sides, and then when I glued it down, I glued it just on the 3 sides here, which created a pocket for another tag there. Then when you turn the page, this is where we have this little flappy-doo here, okay? And this, I put a magnet on it because it was small and it was kind of a little bit floppy, so I'd added a magnet. This is a 3x4 cut apart, and it's attached on the top on just the 3 sides right here to create the pocket behind, and I put these little tiny tags in there, and then that opens up for a big photo opportunity. And then when you close it, then you can open it up like this, and then you have a mat here and a mat here. Now this page, all of these pages, you know, you can, let's go ahead and do the binding part here. You can flip them around and do them the other way too. So if you wanted, instead of having this on the front, you could put this one on the front. So these things are truly, like, you could do whatever you want. If you want this one on the front of the page, you can do that. You can have this part on the back. You could turn it upside down if you wanted to and do it this way, and then you could have a flap like this and have the cut apart go this way. You can have this more towards the bottom. The choice is totally up to you. That's the beauty of these little configuration pages. They're totally versatile. The other thing that you could do is you could put a flap here like we did on the other one, but instead of having this bottom piece flap out, you could make that a pocket, and you could have this cover with the cut apart, you could have it cover another pocket. So lots and lots and lots of opportunities to really play with this. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. The possibilities are endless, really. So this is the 5.5 inch page. This is how I did this one. All right. So then, let's see, the 6 inch page. So this is the 4th page. So this page here is a 6 inch page. So it has the pocket here, and it has a flap, and then you turn it over, and then it has a pocket on the back. Okay. So this one's pretty easy. Okay. So the 5th page here, we're going to put it in with the 11 at the top, and we're going to score at 1/2, at 3/4, at 6 3/4. And then you're going to turn it around, and you're going to score again at 6 1/2. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make a slit here, just right there, and then you're going to cut that triangle out again. So when you get done with that, you're going to end up with a piece that looks like this, okay? And you have your binding piece over here, which I haven't folded any of them on this on these models, have I? Okay, so we'll just do that. Okay, so again, this is the page that we're looking at here. So we're going to have the flap in the front with a pocket, and then we're going to have a pocket in the back. So basically, we're going to fold the flap to the front. This will fold up and create the pocket on the front, and then on the back, we'll fold this here, and that will create the pocket in the back. And again, we're going to use these little connecting things. At least I did. You don't have to. If you want to glue them down, you just have to make sure you have the pattern paper down first before you do that, unless you're going to just use scraps and not go in the pocket. If you want the full width of the pocket, then use your little connector things. You're going to have one for each side, and you glue those down, and then that will give you the connectors for your pockets. And then you can use the full width of your pocket. Okay, so again, this is versatile. You could put the pocket on the inside if you wanted to, and just have the flap on the outside. However you want to do it. You can put this on the other side and bring this around to the front, whatever you want to do. So that's this particular page. And then last, but definitely not least, is this page. So you can see if you wanted to do like one of these configurations for an album, you can twist it in so many different ways that each page would actually be different. So you could do all kinds of stuff with this. So I just love making these things. I just think they're so much fun because they're so versatile. Okay, so the 6.5 inch page. What you're gonna do is you're gonna 8.5, 11 at the top. You're gonna score again. Whoops, at half, at 3/4, and then at 7 1/4. And then you're going to turn it and score at 6.5, okay, just like that. And then we're going to make the same slit. So you can see it's different dimensions, but we're doing the exact same cuts as we just did, but we're just doing it in a different dimension. But when I did that, I ended up with a different page because I did just like what I was telling you. I put the pocket, the big long pocket on the front, and then I turned it. I have the flap on the back, but the pocket's on the inside. You see what I'm saying about how these are different? They look like they're totally different pages. The only thing that's different is it's a 1/2 inch wider on the base page. Okay, so once you get done with that, you're going to end up with the same kind of thing. You're going to have a slit here, and you're going to have this corner cut out. And all I did was I put the pocket to the front instead, and I folded the flap to the back, okay? And then what I did was I put the pocket on the inside of the flap. That's all I did. So that creates this page, okay? I hope that all makes sense. I mean, I love how these pages come together. I love the different things that you can do with them. Again, I'm going to have all of the dimensions for this album down below. So you're going to have a cutting guide. You're going to have a full cutting guide of all of this stuff. And the scoring as well, since we didn't, you know, I'll go through the scoring with you. Then I'm going to put these pictures on my blog so that you can print them out as well. And all the tags, I used some scraps. I think I did use like 2 pieces of... I think I did use a couple pieces of black cardstock because I just really wanted to stuff it and I wanted to use all of the paper that I could. But again, I started off just using scraps for all the tags. But all of the paper, I did end up using almost all of it. I think the images are so amazing that you can cut them up into any configuration and make some tags, and it just turned out like super, super beautiful. I did not use a magnet on this because it stays up really well. I didn't use magnets on any of these other flaps. The only magnet I did use was here because it was a smaller flap. But again, I don't even really think I needed to, but I thought it might need it. But again, this is your project. You can do with it whatever you want. You can configure this any way you want. I love the graduated pages. But you don't even have to do that. If you wanted to make this album and just use the 6 or the 6.5 inch pages, you totally could do that too. I was just having a ton of fun trying to figure all this out. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope that it made sense. If you have any questions, let me know as always. Again, these papers are Bee House by Country Craft Creations. Tamra did a fantastic job designing these, and they're exclusive to Country Craft Creations. So go to countrycraftcreations.com, get your supplies, get your artisan cardstock, and again, I used black and summer ivory. Get your Bee House papers. She even has this gingham check ribbon in her shop, so you can get that as well, and make this really super cute album. I think you'll really, really enjoy it, and I think that it can hold a ton of pictures, and it's just absolutely stunning with these papers. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great crafty day. Bye-bye.